recording. Start streaming. Yep.
It says you went live in 3 seconds. You went live from the future.
Well, hey.
It is later where you are, I guess. Oh, now I'm listening to myself.
Echo, 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 echo.
Oh no.
Right, so it's live now. So we're live.
Okay, so I have to mute the Twitch. All right. It's
Yep.
very confusing. Okay. Um 105 all-time views.
Who has what?
You do have.
Oh, well, we've got 3 viewers right now. 2 of them are probably us.
Oh yeah, probably. But who's the third one? Ooh, new prime loot.
Don't know. Don't have any stats for that just yet. I think we just broke it.
What happened? What broke?
No, it seems to be working still. That's okay. I think. I have to check now.
Oh, no, wait. I just went away from the video. That's not good.
Yes, that's what I just did.
Oh, you did the same thing?
I did the same thing, yeah. So I'm just double checking to make sure that it's still...
How do I go back then? Do I go to your main section? Oh, but oh, I see. Now it says you're offline.
Does it?
Oh, now I'm listening to myself. That's irritating. Oh, wait, are you live again?
No, I am waiting for my device to wake itself up from being asleep so that I can check the stream.
But look, you have 9 followers.
Yep.
I wonder how many are IMVU staff.
Oh my goodness me.
Oh. This first one, that's Razor Speed, that's Victor.
Oh, is it?
I don't know who Yippee Hippie is.
No, neither do I.
Rindarelli, that is an employee. Hula Binks, that's Beth. That person, I don't know. That person's Amanda. Oh, that person is Robert, and that's me. This time I opened them in a new tab, though. Okay, now what's happening?
Yeah, it says we're offline, so... Although...
Here it says you are streaming. Is that maybe that's out of date? Maybe that's what it meant by in the future.
No, we are live and we are streaming, apparently.
Oh, we are?
Apparently.
Nice.
Yep. We are basically... What a complete and utter... swear word, cuss word, cuss word.
Pain in the ass? How about
Yes.
that? Okay. Oh, I got an email that you went live on Twitch. Oh, no, that was like 5 minutes ago.
Twitch is not for old people.
No, but I'm mostly inviting old people, so...
Oh, Polly's here.
Yeah, Polly's not that old, though.
Right, okay, so as we are live, we might as well continue with your Hatboxes of Babel.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention something that I thought of about 10 minutes ago.
You don't have the file.
Right, because IT has that laptop.
Oh, right, okay.
So maybe you can just give us, maybe you can just make the robot, the Franken turkey.
Robot turkey.
Or robot turkey. I thought if it's a Franken turkey, we can suggest things you could add to it.
Well, we can do... well, we have to build the turkey first, I guess, so...
Building a turkey, that should be interesting.
Yes, well, the way I would do it is... The way I tend to do these things is you build the object first in terms of what it is that you are doing. And then you can use that as a basis for doing other things too. So you'd make a duplicate of that finished object and do things to it. Because that way you could, if you were... Because this turkeys, if you think you're making one turkey as your root, but because you have that as the root object, you can then do different versions of it. So you have turkeys, and you can, from that one turkey, you can make many turkeys, which I gather is how they like it.
The turkeys like to be together?
Yeah. Is it turkeys?
Yeah, I guess it. I think, what?
Turkeys. They're not solitary animals, creatures.
No, I mean, I've seen wild turkeys, and generally you see 8 or 10 of them together. I'm gonna say more than 1 or 2 for sure.
Okay, well, we'll do we'll make a base... Whoops, that's the wrong one. Make a base turkey object. So, seriously? Right. So what I'm going to do first is just edit mode. I'm going to use all the shortcuts for this because it's quicker.
Wait, are you going to tell us what they are?
Yeah, so edit mode is tab key. So instead of using the selector, because it just, when you're doing a lot of work, it just saves time, just pressing the tab key. And the other one that will be used a bit is Control tab, which brings up the mode selector, which is your vertex, edges and face, which it doesn't replace, but it's a proxy for the buttons that you normally use at the bottom here in the 3D view header. So instead of constantly going back down there, you can leave the mouse where it is, the cursor, and the menu appears at the mouse. So I'm going to switch to edge mode. I'm just going to try something first. In fact, actually, let's just select all of those and Control B, which is bevel. Left click, and that's the basic body of the turkey. So what we're going to do is use this front face, so switch to that, switch to face select, select that front face, and we're going to use this as a positioner for the 3D cursor, which is that loop thing, red and white thing, and we're going to position that relative to this front face. We're going to do that with, is it Shift S? Yeah, Shift S, which replaces using the mesh menu and snap. So again, it's just a menu option. You can either use the menu options or the shortcut keys, which is Shift S in this instance. And we want cursor to selected, because what we're going to do is toggle out of edit mode and add a, no, that's the wrong one, Shift A. So Shift A, so you've got Shift S, which is your snap, which replaces the snap menu, and then you've got Shift A, which is the add menu, which is this thing down here. So you're using the shortcuts just to replace all of the menus. I'm going to add a cube and just shrink that down, so S key. And just position that there. I'm going to add some more cubes. It doesn't really matter where we snap these because we can adjust them. So Shift A again, cube.
Wait, this is a turkey?
A robot turkey, it will be. It's just a simple object that keep it really simple.
Oh, wait, is it like, it's boxy because it's a turkey?
Yes, because it's a robot and it's a turkey, yeah, so it's just really boxy. But it's just keeping things simple, you know, it's just simple objects. If you, as we were saying before we went live, if you look at the stuff that's in the future armor, and look at the way that their characters are, they're just simple boxy shapes. They don't need to be complicated.
Yeah, they do a good job of it, not like some children's cartoons I've seen.
Yeah. So we're just going to make, this is just making a single leg that we can then duplicate. But again, it's just using blocks and shapes and doing as little mesh editing. The only thing that was really done is just using the bevel, just to bevel the edges around the box, the main body of the object. So,
are you going to animate it?
No, we won't. We probably won't have time for that, but that could be done in another stream, but it depends, because if this is a static furniture item, it can be exported relatively simply using the furniture root node stuff. But if this is an animated furniture item, we have to use bones and skeletons and armatures. We have to do it properly, inverted commas, because the FBX doesn't properly support animated nodes fully yet, from what I understand. So I could do with a reference, actually. I should have done that before we started.
You have just like a robot turkey just on standby for reference?
Well, I can, if this device works properly. That's funny. No, it doesn't. Oh, yes, it does. Okay, I found one. Right, okay. Right, so we need to place the foot. So select that, right click.
Wait, what's your reference picture?
Oh, it's hang on. I'll see if I can bring it up on stream.
I really think Polly should take a lesson from you. Tutorial.
Stop calling her out.
Why?
Because it's mean.
Oh,
So that's the reference that I've got, so that I can find quickly, relatively speaking. Let me see if I can see.
oh.
But you can see how simple that is. Let me see if I can. Why isn't it zooming the image? Oh. So that's the simple. But you can see how simple it is. I mean, essentially, you've got the body is the cube. It's got a cube for a head, with a simple beak and I don't know what that's called, but the feet are very simple feet, and the same with the wings and tail.
I feel like the biggest part of a turkey is really its legs.
Well, they're quite robust birds. So, but this is just the robot turkey as intended, as designed by It's not Matt Groening, is it? Who's the guy that is it?
I think it is, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So move that aside and continue. So what we're doing is just laying down some basic shapes and using shapes for positioning. So just right-clicking this bottom face again and then snapping the cursor. Snap to selected, and that allows us to place objects. Whoops. Delete that. Scale. That's extrude. So that's another useful. So you select the face, press the E key, or That's the menu face extrude, I think. Oh no, there it is. Use shortcuts so much that it becomes muscle memory. So when you have to think where things are, you forget where they are. But there's also the buttons.
That's how I am. That's how I am with Photoshop.
Yeah. When you know, that's the thing with the tutorials. You constantly have to double check what you're doing because you're so used to the muscle memory of just pressing buttons and you're using shortcuts.
That even happens between 3D Studio Max and just like using IMVU, I feel like. Because in IMVU, you're kind of rotating around a 3D space,
Yeah.
you know, just as a user.
Yeah.
And you move around it differently from 3D Studio Max, and it's kind of weird sometimes.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is loop cut. I want 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I guess there's really no reason for me to have audio right now.
No, it's fine. Well, I mean, you might as well because we've always had the audio, so. Tidy these up. So select and then press the G key twice, which slides it along the edge, and we can shift those out of the way because we don't need them. And then we can get rid of the what that has now created is a set of duplicate vertices in the same location. So what we can now do is just get rid of those by selecting everything, which is the A key, and then using the rem doubles, which removes duplicate vertices. So there's now just one at those locations. This is just making the toes according to the diagram. Extrude, extrude, and we can scale those slightly. Where's the... Whoops. Actually, it'd be better to do it just... shorten that. Decrease the size of that slightly. In fact, actually what I'll do is select that edge, snap the cursor to it, and then using set origin, set the origin to the 3D cursor, and then align that, whoops, to that face. So cursor, select it to cursor. Just join those two together. Control J. That's a single object. So we've got a basic leg, which just put in place now. We can adjust the size of these things later. So duplicate that. Control Shift D. If we want to, we can either duplicate, which creates a separate object, or we can duplicate linked, which means that we can edit one of these. In fact, we'll do that. So duplicate linked. So that's created a linked duplicate to the original. So if I position this roughly there, and as you see, when you edit one, it edits the other. But what we want to do with this leg is mirror it. We need to flip it, so that's mirror X global. Left click. So now if I select that, it selects the mirror on the opposite side. So we've got two basic legs. Whoops. Looks like a clockwork turkey already. So we need to bevel the edges.
Yeah, you can make
Sorry?
a clockwork orange turkey, and then it'll have like one eye with some like really big eyelashes, and a top hat.
And a top hat.
No, a derby, a bowler hat.
Yes, bowler hat, yeah. Carrying a baseball bat.
Yes, the turkey needs to be carrying a baseball bat for sure.
Strapped to its back.
To protect his legs. It's that time of year.
Yeah. He says with a
strapped to his back.
Yeah.
Like
holstered.
I'm thinking, what's her name with the red and blue hair?
Oh, Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So let's just check the reference. It's the figure on the right. We need to make his head a little bit smaller, but we can do that later. So we need to add a beak. So right click the face. Again, center the cursor. Cursor selected. There are other ways of doing this sort of stuff, but what is it? Old habits die hard.
Yeah, that's why I want to take a class.
Of?
Well, the only classes they have around here are in Maya.
Oh, right.
Well, they found a bug in the Maya importer FBX thing, I guess. Actually, Robert may have caused the bug.
Uh-huh.
Where it makes all the textures have a transparency map, which makes them invisible. When you import something in Maya, it all comes in invisible.
Just reducing the number of sides, because we don't need a whole lot. This is the beak. Rotate on the x-axis, so that's you press the actuator, which is the key to initiate, rotate, and then when it's active you can use X, Y or Z, and lock the rotation around a given axis. So shrink that down, S key.
How did you lock the rotation?
So you start the, so if you want to rotate, scale or move along a specific axis, so if you press the G, unlike the widget tools, they are generally used to, you generally use them for specific axis movements relative to the red, green or blue handles. But if you press the G key, it puts you into a free translate mode. So if you do that and want to restrict its movement, you then press the Y key, the X key, or the Z key, Z, to restrict the axis of movement.
Oh, but it's not snapping.
Not unless you press the control key. So if I do G and Z, if you watch that, it moves quite freely by default, but if you hold the control key down once you've initiated everything, it'll snap.
I kind of like the beak that size.
Just a giant turkey bee. Yeah, you're not going anywhere near that turkey.
It's like an Angry Birds turkey.
Right, and we need 2 eyes, so leaving the cursor where it is. Cylinders. Again, reduce the number of vertices. Rotate that round. Reduce the size of that, so that's the S key. Duplicate that. We don't necessarily need for this to be linked, so just Shift D or just duplicate objects. But what I'll do now, because now it's getting quite tricky to see everything, so what we can do now is turn on the display of wireframes. And I'll also take this opportunity to save the file. Save as. Robot Turkey 1. So if we look back at the reference again, probably need to make his head a bit smaller, but we can do that later. So next thing, wings. So right click the main body, again use the face as our position, and Shift S, and we want the cursor to selected, and then Shift A, mesh, cube, and squash this down. Actually, undo that, squash it that way. Squash it that way a little bit. And the position is okay-ish. So what we can then do is switch to so that we can see it, and then if we add a couple more loop cuts to this, so loop cut and slide, that'll do for now, and then we can, it automatically switches to edge select mode when you use the loop cut. But what this allows us to do is we can make, let's rotate that around the, whoops. And that's what I meant about the sensitivity of the tool. If you activate it when the cursor is close to the center of rotation or the pivot point, it's really, really sensitive. So you have to move the mouse away, then initiate it, and you have much more control over the speed of the manipulation. Just make a basic wing shape. By manipulating vertices. And we can slide. If you select an edge and you want to position it relative to the edges that already exist, you can press the G key to activate free translate, and if you press it again it'll activate slide, so it'll slide along the selected edges, not selected, the associated edges. So add a loop. Control R is the shortcut just across the middle there, that's so that we can make the wings a little bit more rounded. So that's one very basic wing. We need to duplicate that to the other side. So what we can do here is press the N key, or from View, Properties, we open the Properties shelf, position the cursor at the center of the scene, make a linked duplicate, right click to reset, and then we can press the full stop or period key, not that one, and the widget will switch, it'll move to the cursor's location because that becomes the pivot point. So with that duplicate selected, we can now, if I go into we can now do a mirrored flip, and it'll use the cursor as the pivot point and rotate it across to the other side of the mesh. And that also means that I'll switch to...
Okay, Thumbelina, access past Thumbelina is just wrong.
What?
Sorry, I was looking in the catalog. There's like access past Thumbelina. You know Thumbelina, the fairy tale?
Oh.
Never mind, sorry.
No, that's
The last topic.
No, I was just wondering, because we are obviously streaming this, and obviously it will be recorded and live for prosperity.
Yes, well, I'm not going to show anybody live streaming access past
Just a reminder.
Thumbelina. I just want to tell the world that that is wrong. That's wrong.
What are we doing? Oh, shaping the wings. So, edit mode. Rather than adding loops, what we can do is select edges. So that's shift, right click, and then just
Who
subdivide.
should I gift it to, though?
You just said it was wrong.
Yeah, I know. It's so wrong. I want to gift it to somebody.
Okie dokie. Subdivide. I'm not saying anything. We want to change the pivot point back to the default. So the two shortcut keys for that are comma and full stop. So full stop forces it to the cursor's location, and comma switches it to the selected elements location. Might have to make these less pointy. And again. That'll do. Ooh, and bomb one. So are you looking through the catalogue whilst...
No, I'm...
You are looking through the catalogue whilst you should be
paying
making
attention to the...
You should be making a robot turkey.
Well, I can't watch you make a robo turkey and make one at the same time, but now I'm actually, you can tell I'm watching because I'm texting. See, look, there's proof on the screen. I was texting Polly, so obviously I was watching, or at least on the right screen. Oh, shoot, what happened? Oh, touch screen, never mind. I was pointing at it. You couldn't see me. I was pointing at the text.
No, I can't see you.
I know. So my pointing wasn't very useful,
No,
but I was pointing at
in,
my text to Polly.
Yeah, not in this instance.
I was just looking at it for a moment, like during a slight lull.
Uh-huh. So, continuing with the basic editing of the wing, make it a little thinner. And all these edits are happening to the opposite side as well, because that's a linked duplicate. Shrink that down a little bit, because that's very big.
Probably Polly's not watching now because she's gonna go find her video on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Not to call her out or anything.
No, not at all. And use the back face. So we're selecting the cube, tabbing into edit mode, right click to select, move the cursor there, so again that's Shift S, cursor to selected, exit edit mode, then add a cube, shrink that down, so S and Y. So we want to create a basic fan shape from this. So squish that face down. Add a couple of subdivisions. So select the top edges. Subdivide. Select those. Subdivide. Subdivide. S and X just to reshape. Turn on wireframe. That tail's not big enough. So that's the reference again.
I think the tail in the reference is too big. It looks like a peacock tail, not a turkey tail.
Oh, it probably is. Yeah.
Well, that one is maybe too small, though.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking, so it's probably about proportionally, yeah, about as big as that. So we want to add some more subdivisions. Oops. Undo that. We just want the edge subdivide, so you have to select the edges, otherwise it'll cut between the two new edges that it's created. That's a bit better. Yeah, the downvotes will be coming, Polly. Don't worry. The bots will
Yeah,
be
but
out.
it's like 4 people that downvoted, and that's it.
Well, it's just
And then it's over.
yeah, they just do it because they can. It's whoops, wrong one. Scale. So there we have a basic, very basic robot turkey. So I'm just gonna, oh, that's got the, let's shift those out of the way. You can either, if you want to get rid of objects that are in the scene, like the camera and the lamp, you can either delete them or just move them to a different layer. So if you press the, if you select them, press the M key, M for Marty, it'll open up the layers overlay.
Sorry, what does M stand for?
Well, M for Marty as opposed to N for Nigel.
Oh.
And just move them out of the way. So select them all, reposition. So our turkey, robot turkey, is now standing on the ground plane. So save this, save as. Number 2. So how long have we been going? Have we been paying attention?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Ask me anything.
What's
Oh, you did ask how long of what?
Go on, sorry.
I might know. I know a few capitals. I know where all the 50 states are.
Here's one that gets quite a few people. What's the state capital of California?
I believe it's Sacramento.
Yeah.
But I live in California, so...
Everybody thinks it's either California or Los Angeles.
Oh.
So we've got a very, very basic robot turkey that's built from some very simple shapes.
I'm not sure if my answering that question correctly really proves that I was watching.
No, it doesn't.
I'll take it.
Yeah. We can add smoothing to this now. So select your objects in the tool shelf. Click the smooth button. And what that does is it gets rid of the faceted appearance of all the elements so that we can manually adjust that.
This would be a great steampunk turkey.
Well, yeah. I was just thinking about, you know, whether it'd be steamed or oven cooked or fried.
No, save the turkeys.
Yeah, save the turkeys. So what we can do now with the faces, with everything set as smooth, is we can go back over this and create some sharp edges where we need them and leave everything else smooth. So select the eye. Oops, that's the wrong one. Control E. Mark sharp. Control E, mark sharp. And then in Object Data Properties, if we activate the Auto Smooth, it'll automatically smooth the eye relative to the markings that we've just made, or by a value. So if I just type 79 just to make sure, yeah. So if you mark edges as sharp when you've got smooth added, in order for it to use the edges properly, you have to set the angle to a slightly higher value than, I mean, for instance, the eyes. So these facets will be, I don't know, 12 degrees or whatever it is. But if you have it at a low value, it'll inadvertently sharpen some of them. So you have to keep it at a relatively high value so that it doesn't do that. And we want to place, so yeah, I want to place some edges there. So edges, mark sharp. So switch that on. So what that does is it creates a break in the beak.
That was a really weird visual image. Bacon beak.
Bacon beak.
If they could grow one with a bacon beak, they probably would.
Yeah. Coming soon to a supermarket near you.
Bacon beak turkey.
Bacon beak turkey. Pre-bacon
No.
turkey.
Bacon beak turducken.
What?
You don't know what a turducken is?
No, I have no idea what that is.
Oh, that's where they take a turkey and wait, I think they start with a duck or they start with a chicken. I don't know. It's like a chicken stuffed inside a duck, stuffed inside a turkey. But I'm actually not sure if the duck comes first or the turkey.
Are they trying to increase the odds of getting salmonella from that, or?
Yeah, I don't know. Then I think you have to deep fry it.
Wow.
Deep fry your turducken. But it seems like something that would have a bacon beak.
Yeah, that definitely would. But using Auto Smooth, you don't always have to mark edges, because if you set the value high enough and the mesh is structured in such a way, it'll smooth the faces relative to how you probably want them anyway. And again, because we've got duplicated meshes, it does it to both sides. Same with the feet. Which are okay like that. I'll have to adjust the... Now we can... let me just try this to see what it looks like. Not sure about that, so get rid of all of those. So what we can do instead is perhaps, so Alt right click, that'll select the loop of faces all the way around the edge. Do that on the top and the bottom. So that's then Shift Alt right click. So we've now selected 2 edge loops. What we can do there is edges, mark sharp. So what we've essentially done is created a top and a bottom of the body. And if you wanted to go crazy, you could probably put rivets or so that's
Cogs.
well, yeah.
Okay, rivets. Bolts.
I'll just do rivets for now because it's simple. UV sphere. Make this. Oh. Is it F6? Yes, it'll let me. No, it won't. Oh. This is the one thing that Blender desperately needs.
What won't it let you do?
No. Once you blow on the object, I mean, once you've touched it, it switches into edit object mode, and you can't go back to editing the object. So what you have to do is delete it and then do it again. They are apparently working on that, but you know, it's one of the things that has been missing from Blender for a while.
Yeah, I think your turkey has the tumor.
Yeah.
Or a hat.
Yeah. So reduce the 8:6. Might even be able to get with, because these are simple rivets. No, that's too few. So all we need to do is edit mode, select those, and then press this C key, and we get paint select, which allows us to left click and paint our selection. And we delete,
Ollie.
Tadurkan is a dish consisting of a deboned chicken stuffed into a deboned duck. How big is the duck? Further stuffed into a deboned turkey. Outside of the United States and Canada, it is known as a 3-bird roast. That sounds very Henry VIII, the kind of opulence that you would have.
I know, totally.
You know, you can imagine the king ordering his turducken.
They were like, what can we make for the king today that will top what we did last feast?
Yeah. What would a turkey stuffed inside a turkey stuffed inside a turkey would be? What would that be?
Turkey.
Yes, it would. To be historically correct, yes, the turkey would have to go inside a boar, and then the boar would be inside a cow.
Oh, and then it would be historically correct.
I guess so, because they did have wild boar. We don't have that around these days, I don't think. Wild boar. We have wild pigs, but they're not exactly the same thing, are they? Are they?
Wild boars and wild pigs, I think they are the same thing.
Are they? Need a hunter on the channel.
Yes.
They would let us know.
Or we can use Wikipedia.
Yeah.
In the United Kingdom, a turducken is a type of ballotine.
A what?
Called a three-bird roast or a royal roast. Hold on, a ballotine from French. Well, in French, that wouldn't be.
Well, there you go.
Can't
Royal
say
roast.
That's French. Yeah, exactly. Royal roast.
Yeah.
So we can just stop there.
Yeah. It's no wonder why they
go.
were plagued by gout.
It seems to be. Oh, it's either a British or a French dish. It seems like. Oh, although it looks like a similar dish was invented in India in the late 1800s. Maybe it was just in the collective unconscious, just around the world, people were like, oh my God, it would be amazing. And they did it.
Yes. So you've got, but for the king, I guess. I was just thinking of grouse and pheasant and, stuffing a grouse inside a pheasant, inside a duck, inside a turkey, inside a wild boar, inside a...
Yeah, that's like that song about the lady who swallowed the fly.
Yes, yeah.
And in the end, she swallowed a horse. She worked her way up to horse.
No, it just sounded, as Polly Smells says, I thought you said Valentine as well, but you didn't. You said Ballotine.
I said
Bolotine.
Yeah, I don't know. Once I saw it was French, then I stopped talking because I was like, I have no idea how to say this word.
So just making some rivets using that sphere that we created. We deleted the bits we didn't need. Let me just focus on that. Whoops, that's the wrong one. That's the numpad full stop or delete key. Just delete the bits that you don't need. And these can just be Shift D duplicated. I have to move this tail out of the way.
I decided to get the computer to pronounce it.
What did it say?
Oh, you can't hear it when I do that?
If it's loud enough, yes.
Oh, well, let me see if I can turn it up. It says I'm at 60%. Just sing. Okay. Can you hear that?
No.
Oh, well, he said ballotine.
Right. So what we can do once we've got the rivets in place is we can join them all together because we don't need to do anything else to them, so to speak, which is Control J. Then we can duplicate them. So Shift D, right click just to reset, and then flip them upside down. So the shortcut for that is Control M and then Z or Z, which will flip them upside down, which can then mean that they can be positioned at the bottom. So the underside has rivets as well. need to tilt this tail. So we're going to reposition the origin down to the bottom of the tail so that we can rotate it based on that region. So select the face in edit mode. Shift S, cursor to selected, and then what we want is set origin to 3D cursor. So when we activate rotate, it rotates around the origin point. I want to fix that to the x-axis. It's a bit too much. That'll do. So there's our basic robot turkey.
Now he just needs to animate.
Let me save as number 3.
And make sounds.
Well, you'd have to volunteer for that.
To try to make some sounds for the turkey.
Turkey sounds. Well, it's nearly 2 AM here, so what might be better is to leave the continuation of this, which will be the texturing, UV mapping and texturing, till the next session.
Hey, let me put in a hyperlink.
To where?
Yep.
What?
To some free turkey sound
Oh.
clips. Yeah, I guess there won't be enough time to do everything.
No, so
Polly, do you want me to make the sound clip myself?
no, don't play any sounds because
Turk, 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 turk.
oh well, if you're going to do them, that's fine, but don't play any copyrighted music, sound, audio, because that basically makes the streams redundant on replay because Twitch silences them. It automatically just if it thinks that the stream contains copyrighted audio, it'll silence the portions of the stream that it thinks are copyrighted audio.
Oh, yeah, I just no, I was just linking to the sounds,
Yeah,
but
no,
Polly
no.
wants me to say, like when I was trying to say a turkey stuffed inside a turkey stuffed inside a turkey, what it would be.
Turk, turk, turk.
Yeah. That would be such an amazing sound clip for this.
Well, yes, it depends how it's said. You could, a depressed turkey or an excitable turkey. All the different emotive ways you could say Turk, Turk, Turk.
I just thought like the dumbest way possible would probably be best.
Yeah.
I can't do a turkey impersonation. I do know what they sound like. But no.
Yeah, I'm just
so
reading,
we should like.
I'm reading through.
Oh,
the
what are you reading?
comments.
Oh, you're catching up.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm just catching up on the comments.
Yeah, look, Polly says she tried to click on the video to rotate the camera. See, she secretly wants to be following along, or subconsciously or something.
Well, yeah, then there's no excuse for not.
At least her hand wants to follow along.
Yeah.
Be nice to your hand, Polly. Let it do the blender stuff.
Yes.
Add some weird effects. That would be cool.
Yeah, you could, I mean, once you've got the basic sound, you can then use audio filters and whatnot to make it sound roboty and clanky.
Oh yeah, when you get it walking, that would be great.
Well,
Oh, you should make the beak hinged.
yes, we can do some. I mean, this is what I mean about the basic object. So once you've got the basic object, you can then, I mean, obviously you would generally kind of decide all of this sort of stuff beforehand, but what you can do, or an advantage of doing it this way, where you just make a base object, is that you can then make once you've got it all UV mapped and what have you, you can make a duplicate of it and then start doing things as a duplicate. So, you would duplicate this and set because if you want it to animate, you have to set it up in a different way depending on what it is that you want it to do as an animated object. So if you wanted this pecking at the ground, for instance, a simple rig for this would be just to add 2 bones that are pivoted at the hips or waist or, lower down, so that it won't do this now, but so that all you're doing is basically tilting the box. But if you want the beak to animate, then you have to set up the rig in a slightly different way and then adjust the mesh to suit the rig, or vice versa, depending on what it is that you want. So this is one of the advantages of particularly for IMVU. You just make a basic object that you can then duplicate and mess around with afterwards.
But that would make a really good contest, like to make something like this and then be like, here's your base Blender file. Now make a contest thing based off of this.
Well, once we get this set up in terms of UV mapping, if you want to do that as a contest, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, I don't know. We have to think about where we're going to run contests, so I don't know.
Yes, you can do Morph Animations in Blender, but at the moment I'm not sure how compatible they are with the FBX exporter. So I don't know how complicated you can make the morph before it'll break.
But you should try, because while we still have an engineer working on this stuff, because if it's not working right, then he can look at it.
Oh yes, I mean the morphs do work. I've exported some basic morphs, but they are very basic. They're not. They're on single objects, simple shapes. So the couch meshes, something like this, although it's a relatively simple thing as an object, it's composed of a lot of different mesh elements.
I want it to be animated, but then I want it to be a chair. So like you're sitting on it, but it's like walking around pecking the ground.
Well, you can do that, but you'd have to then do a... See, it starts to get complicated when you do that, because do you want the avatar to react to the forward tilting of the turkey? So would they be holding onto the...
Oh, like they'd be like, oh my goodness, and like hold on a little tighter and look surprised or something. Yeah. I mean, at the bare minimum, I just want them to be on top. But I understand how that would look weird if you don't do all of that.
Yeah, because it makes the avatar just tilt forward without reacting to being tilting forward.
Robot turkey ride.
Yes, robot turkey ride. Yeah. But it is, I mean, obviously it's possible. It's just, it starts to get complicated when you start doing things like that, because you have to, you make the turkey, animate the turkey, and then you have to pose the avatar relative to the animation sequence that you've sorted out for the turkey. And you have to get the length.
That's the kind of...
Go on, sorry.
Oh, that's the kind
kind of thing that's Polly's specialty.
Yes.
Matching up animations of avatars to objects. She's very good at that.
Well, we'll see how far we get with this, and if we're exporting it to FBX anyway, FBX can be imported into Max.
Oh, so maybe that's what we could do.
So there's no excuses.
But so if Polly doesn't want to... Well, okay, well, so if somebody whose name we won't mention doesn't want to... What?
Yep, whose name we won't mention.
Yeah, if a person
who's not commenting on the stream.
Okay. Who's not commenting on the stream, didn't want to learn to use Blender, even with, someone guiding her step by step, or him, I don't know.
He could, him or her,
they could import the file into 3D Studio Max and maybe give us a lesson on how you would do the animation. Actually,
that is a very good idea. How you would collaborate with that actually is a very good idea, because that also speaks to one of the other advantages of using FBX, which is the collaboration. Because you can now export reasonably finished objects from one application to another with relatively little error. So yes, you could have one person making something in, for example, Blender, and then have that exported and imported into Max or whatever. Yes, very sneaky people, Polly. Yes. Oh, sorry. That was not the person that was not being spoken of. And imported and worked with in another application.
Yeah. And then we can show making a texture in the same, they could all be the same video even. Well, I mean, that would take a lot of time, but I mean, you could show different applications in the same video. Would be kind of cool.
Well, it's just a continuation of a series, I guess. I mean, you would have meshing, UV mapping, and basic texturing in terms of applying the default generated images that are in Blender. You then export those images out as maps that can then be edited in GIMP or Photoshop or whatever it is, that 2D image editing. And then you have the animated mesh that can be exported as FBX, imported into Max, etc., to be worked on from an avatar point of view, so that an avatar pose can be matched to the item. All facilitated by FBX.
And people who we won't name.
No.
And other people we will, like Ken. Wait, are we allowed to name the person named Ken?
Depends who that person is.
Oh. That's not very clear.
Well, it's, do you use their online name, their IMVU name, or their real name? And if you use their real name and their IMVU staffers, then you have to use their IMVU name so that IMVU users know you're talking about somebody from IMVU.
Well, if they're IMVU staff, some of them may not want their staff, their avatar name.
Yes. So you could use an alt.
But if you are a creator, you might feel the opposite. You might be like, oh, I don't want my real name used.
Yes, free publicity and all that for the creator accounts.
Yeah, wait, okay. But if you're somebody like me, or I don't know, like Lindsay or something, it's like people know our name, they know our avatar name, so whatever. But everyone else is a little less clear and might want some privacy. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the tricky thing with the streams and the online stuff. We are still live, by the way.
I know you always remind me that. I
I
must
do.
just say
Just
dodgy things all the
yeah,
time.
just to
You're like,
check.
oh,
Well, listen, right? We joke about it, but one of my, it's not one of mine. The last stream that we did, which was uploaded to YouTube after it was done, was demonetized by YouTube as being not suitable for advertising. You know, the adpocalypse thing. But it's a
but
video.
why?
Exactly, that's exactly the point. The robot, or whatever it is that they're using, flagged it for whatever reason as being inappropriate. So, an educational video talking about using Blender to make something for IMVU with you and I talking about the process was flagged as inappropriate.
So what do? You can appeal it or
Yeah, well,
something?
yes, you can appeal it, but your video has to have a minimum of 1,000 views, and that's no guarantee. I think I posted about this on Twitter and social media, but that's no guarantee that YouTube even pay attention. I mean, if you're talking about people like, is it Casey Neistat?
Yeah, yeah.
And Phil
PewDiePie.
DeFranco.
Oh, Philip DeFranco.
Yeah, they have problems getting anybody from YouTube to talk to them.
Yeah.
Yes, they are, and that's exactly the point. As Polly says, she had that happen, and they were pretty vague about it. And they are. They just say they give you the general guidelines that it's inappropriate language, sexual content, or there's another category, another third one. But
Yeah, it's crazy. I've had the same thing happen with Amazon.
yeah.
I had thousands of reviews on Amazon and and I would have this problem with them. And I've had the same problem with IMVU. And actually, when I think about it, IMVU is probably the most responsive. I
Yes.
mean,
Ironically.
it's, yeah, ironically, and even though it can be really tough, I mean, I get messages from people all the time saying, I filed this help ticket and nobody's responded to me, or I don't know, whatever. I mean, I don't know what's happened with the help ticket, but people do get answers. Then I'll get back to them and they'll be like, oh no, customer service fixed it.
Yeah.
It just takes a little longer, but they do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's just crazy because it's so out of your control. It's like you don't have any rights. It's like if you're a citizen of a country, you have rights. But if you're a person who makes their money on a certain website, you have no rights there.
No, and they do it in a way where you almost get the impression that they say you have recourse, but it's almost a formality. It's there as just a, well, we do actually have this, but whether you actually get any remedy from it is another matter entirely, because they have either criteria for it to be valid before you can actually act on it, or there's no guarantee that anybody will respond because they don't. YouTube isn't set up like IMVU in the sense that it doesn't have a responsive customer support system in place. It just doesn't have that.
Yeah. I do listen to especially the stuff. I think Philip DeFranco talks about it more than anyone else. So that's really where I hear about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
and
so it's kind of ironic that IMVU has a decent track record from that point of view in terms of actually, at least they are responsive to, most queries.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. I think the worst thing is if you don't contact them about it for like a certain amount of time. That's when I've had trouble where I'm like, this thing happened 2 years ago, but I didn't notice until now.
Yeah.
And customer service is just like, well, what do you want us to
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear that horn? Can you hear it?
I did hear that, yes.
Holly, can you hear the horn? There's like a guy that comes by with a little cart. It's like an ice cream cart, but it's not. It's like snacks or something. And I'm just like, how creepy is that he has this clown horn? It's like, especially when that movie It just
Yeah, I
came
was just
out.
about to say, yeah.
So he's going around like, oh, children, gather around and buy my snacks because I have a creepy clown horn. It's so loud. Anyway, maybe it's time to go.
Yeah.
Are we streaming on when are you sorry, are you streaming on Wednesday?
You'd probably get arrested for assault for doing that, Polly.
For doing what?
Polly just said,
Oh,
is he right under the window? Can you dump a bucket of water on him? This is California, after all. Yeah. Oops. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if that's what you do for a living, like I feel bad for the guy, actually. I wouldn't do that, but I would like to say I would like to throw down like a nicer bell for him or something. That's it out there. I'll throw like a bell at him, you know.
Well, it's
Be like,
debatable
this
how
instead.
long people like that will be able to do it because of the robot delivery things that are, I mean, as you posted to Instagram.
No, the robot delivery things, they're cool. They're really cute looking and they talk to you. They're so cute and they send you cute emails, but every one of them has like a chaperone. They have a person that walks around with them like with a remote control. And
So what's
supposedly,
the point?
yeah, well, eventually, I think they're supposed to be sitting in an office somewhere and operating them by remote control, except I think they're still supposed to have somebody helping them at intersections. So I'm not really sure, but thanks for reminding me. I definitely want to order from them and get actual video instead of just a still picture. That's why I'm going to order food from them just because of that.
Robot turkey deliveries. Yeah.
That would be more fun. Oh, wait, are they
Oh no, robot
delivering?
delivery turkeys. So the turkeys would be delivering. That's mean. You would have turkeys
If
delivering turkey sandwiches.
No, I would get like a kombucha, but think how much it would get shaken up
Yeah.
while it was like, because I don't think robot turkeys would move very well.
No, Polly suggested that as a thing. A turkey
Yeah,
is a robot delivery device.
I see that. Robot delivery turkeys. At least they, I don't know, better than real turkeys. So are you streaming Wednesday?
Maybe.
Maybe. When are we gonna know? I think I marked it off on the calendar.
Well, if it's marked off, then it's more than likely. There's a high possibility of precipitation.
I'm marking it off right now. All right, let's see. Although
Right,
if I'm
so
the only one there.
as soon as you say it's done, the stream will be ended for now until that next session.
As soon as I say what?
As soon as you say that it's done, The timing has been booked.
Oh, okay. Hold on. No, it's too much pressure. Oh my God. Okay, wait. I don't even know. Am I booking a room for this? I don't know. It's like the day before Thanksgiving. I'll just book the room just in case.
Well, nobody will be there, will they?
I know people will be there on Wednesday. I don't know. They might go home early. Probably. I don't know. Okay, I don't really know, but they won't be there at like 6 p.m. by the end.
No.
Why shouldn't I just go home at 3:30 or something? Although, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I'm just gonna save it now.
Okay, well, we shall see you in the next stream.
It's booked.
Way.
Okay, bye.
Oh, we missed it.
What did we miss?
No, the stream stopped